it's my theory. I mean, I don't have consensus among the group that this is in fact the case, that Mitch McConnell was hedging his bets throughout the entirety of, from the impeachment articles being drafted until the verdict came through. And remember that we did the impeachment articles in time to walk them over and begin the trial during the time period when Mitch McConnell was in fact the majority leader. And that delay then allowed an out for the Republicans to say that the president was no longer in office and therefore you cannot impeach a former president, which was what a lot of them held as the reason that they could not convict him, right? So I believe that Mitch McConnell wanted to give himself that. But I do believe that he wanted to convict the president. But I think that in whipping the votes, that is, in layman's terms, determining where everyone's vote was, he needed a majority of his caucus to support conviction, or else he could not remain the majority leader of the Republican caucus. He cannot be someone convicting the president with 17 and the majority vote to not convict the president. He would have to have stepped down. He would be overthrown. And it's my belief that his desire to remain majority leader was such that when he realized he would not get that overwhelming, get more than half, that the door was closed. And so the entire time that he was listening, I mean, the intensity at which he was watching us and listening to the evidence was kind of frightening how intense he was. And I think that was because he knew what we were saying was damning, but that was not much he could do. I had conversations with other Republican senators, which is always kind of strange, right? That you are presenting to jurors and then during lunch hour and in the corridors, they're talking to you about the case. They're like, oh, I like that piece, but I think you should go more into this. And I didn't like that. And I don't think you really necessarily made the case there. And I'm like, are you supposed to be talking to me? But it's a very different, the rules are very different. And I recall a conversation where someone was like, I believe, Stacey, that you've proven the case, but I'm not going to vote with you. And I was like, oh, come on. Why don't you? I said, well, how about splitting the baby? How about you vote to convict, but we only need a majority to disqualify. So then don't vote to disqualify. And he's like, yeah, that would be great, but you're not going to get 17. I've whipped the vote. So I would never be able to get to the disqualification portion. And I'd just be left to hang out to dry as one of maybe 10, 12, 13 who voted to convict the president.